I love the fact that you want to learn through discomfort and that you welcome it. Some negative experiences can teach us more than some of the positive experiences, and it's all what you do with it. Are you going to create and remake something better from it, or are you going to let it be an anchor? Welcome back, all you successful stylists, and thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I have a girlfriend that I'm going to introduce you to in a second, but I want to thank you so much for all these amazing reviews that you guys have been giving us on Apple Podcasts. Those 5-star reviews mean the world to us, but it also helps the right people find us. So thank you for continuing to give us those awesome reviews. Today, we're hanging out with Bobbi Zmiewsky. She is a girlfriend of mine that I actually met through Drea, as you guys have gotten to know her so well. And she has been in the industry for a long time. She's a salon owner, and she's actually not behind the chair anymore. So I'm really excited to talk with her.
Thank you. What a lovely introduction. You're just my favorite. I'm so excited to be here and to get to do this with you and get to, we actually get to chat quite often and share stories with each other. And so the fact that now we just get to record it and share it with other people, I'm pretty excited because this is so much fun. Like one of the funnest parts about what we do.
Please introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been in the industry.
My name is Bobbi. I am in Grand Junction, Colorado. I own a salon here. We're celebrating our 5-year anniversary this year, January 1st. So that's very exciting. We're going to talk a little bit today about what the last 5 years has looked like. I've been in that industry almost 20 years. And I'm still as obsessed, if not more, with the beauty industry today than I was when I started it. I can remember I was 15 years old and I was working at Cost Cutters and dusting shelves and watching these amazing hairdressers create these feelings and people were leaving happier than when they came in. You know, I grew up watching my grandma perm hair in the kitchen, and I've just always been drawn to the beauty industry. It was never really a question for me. It was just always there in my being. Everyone's like, what are you going to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I'm going to do hair. Like, I want to make people beautiful. I don't really know where it came from. It's just always been there inside of me. So when I was in high school, I actually started attending beauty school simultaneously. So my senior year in high school, I took my classes in the morning and then I'd leave at lunch and go to beauty school. So not long after graduating high school, I got my license in cosmetology, and I've been doing it ever since. And I feel like every single part of our industry and every part about being behind the chair or in a salon, like I've done it. From laundry to apprenticing to sweeping to cleaning the bathrooms to dusting the shelves, merchandising, retailing. I mean, every single part of what makes our industry function, I have done it in one form or another at one job for, one salon or owner or the other. I've had some amazing mentors in my life. I've been very, very blessed to be on the path with some of the most amazing mentors. And then I've also learned what not to do. I've seen things happen where I'm like, oh, I hope I never have to do that, or I hope I never have to put somebody in that position. So for me, when it comes to being a salon owner, it comes from that place of pure passion of I've been there, I've done it, and I want to leave this industry better than where it was when I came into it. And I want to give a space to my team that is better than some of the places I've been at. And really just coming from a place of, if it's a job, I've done it, and here's how to do it more efficiently and, grow and scale. And that's really where, my background led me to today.
Some negative experiences can teach us more than some of the positive experiences, and it's all what you do with it. Are you going to create and remake something better from it, or are you going to let it be an anchor? And so I like that it became something that catapulted you and pushed you into wanting to create a better space. You've been in the industry for 20 years. You started a salon 5 years ago. What made you decide to open up your own space?
So I was actually working at, it was Allure Salon and Day Spa, and I had worked there for many, many years. The previous owner was a great mentor of mine, somebody who has been there through so many pivotal points in my life. I met this woman when I was 18 years old, fresh out of high school and beauty school, a hot mess of a hairstylist, learning the ropes, learning the industry, learning myself, what I wanted to do in my life. So she's seen me through all stages. She's seen me through my first pregnancy. She's seen me through a divorce. She had seen me through the passing of my mom, who was also a very, very had a very pivotal role in my life. She was my best friend. And so losing your center of gravity on this world can definitely shake a person. And again, this was, her name's Jessica, and she had seen me through so many of these life stages. And even through all of that, we sat down and had a conversation one day, and she really, really loves what she does behind the chair. And she was definitely getting to a point of burnout, running the business and being behind the chair. And she said, if there was anybody I was going to want to take this and grow it into what it could be, it would be you. And for me, that was just such a huge honor. I know buying a salon versus opening your own, if you compare the two, starting your own from scratch would obviously be much easier. But I made a commitment, and that meant a lot to me that somebody was like, I have spent 17 years creating this and calling this my home and putting so much work and blood and sweat and tears into it that I would like you to have it and then take it even further. So that's the route I went down, and I figured out what we needed to do to make that happen. And again, in this industry, like I have worked for corporate, I had worked as a, commission-based stylist. I'd also done booth rent. I kind of had tried it all. So I knew like owning a salon and having it be a commission-based employee salon was something I wanted to do because of what I was able to offer the stylists. And to this day, it's been 5 years and we've had our ups and downs, but she still works for me today and is still a very important person in my life and is definitely a mentor to me still. And then to have her trust me and trust this vision because so much has changed. We've rebranded, we've renamed, we're now a Allure Beauty Bar. I was really able to take what she had created and take it and put my spin on it and make it my own and take it to a level that everybody that works here could be proud of. And so yeah, that's a little bit of our story. Today we're going to dive into that first year and, after attending Summit and what happened with our staff, in that meantime and kind of those growing pains of buying a salon that was owned previously and those expectations and then, what we turned it into.
I definitely want to hear the details of that story because I think that first year there are so many learning lessons that can happen that can go through growth, but both up and down. And I think it's what you take with that information and how you can grow from it and how you're able to pivot that makes the biggest difference in the sustainability of your business. But I think even from a leadership standpoint, being able to go from an operator that's generating behind the chair to now being thwarted into this leadership persona, what did that look like when you were taking that transition?
I loved what I did behind the chair, and I had built a very successful business with my guest count behind the chair. And when at the point that I bought the salon, I was probably doing my absolute best that I'd ever done with my own personal revenue behind the chair. I was riding this high. I was like, oh, we're doing these things and it's working and we're retaining and we're growing. And for me personally, and I was like, I want to take this, what's working really well, and maybe the things that didn't work so well for me and share that was kind of my mindset going into salon ownership, as well as like, I really love the marketing. I love the leadership aspect of it. I thought I was like women and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like I can do it all. And so, and I did for a little bit. I was still behind the chair. And then in my downtime, in my breaks, in the evenings, doing all of the things that the business needed, inventory, ordering, payroll. But it got to be so much so fast because there was also so much I didn't know about having employee handbooks, having schedules, having, all of these policies and protocols in place, and they have to come from somewhere, and it needed to be authentic to who we were. I don't think salon ownership can be copy and paste. I think you can absolutely have programs that help give you an outline, and even just like what, a successful stylist does. Like when it comes to certain things, they can be replicated, but you still put your own spin on it. And so that's, what a salon ownership is. Like, you have to sit down and sit with it and be like, what does this mean to me and the people that I'm leading? Your guest should be your absolute center of attention. And I found myself being pulled away from that. I was trying to work on my guest, but people had questions or something needed attention up front, or, just the basic operations of a salon that started pulling my time away from my guest. And I started kind of like resenting that. And I was like, but I love this, but I also love my guests and I love being behind the chair. But I had also, been coached that it's okay to maybe transfer some of my guests to other stylists that would be a good fit for them. Like, just because I was giving up what I was doing behind the chair didn't mean I was losing who I was. And so I started slow. I took one day out of my work week, and then it went to 2. And then by the time I was only working 2 days behind the chair, I was like I was just so excited for the days that I wasn't behind the chair and all of the things I got to do, that eventually it just became a no-brainer. And I had transferred all of my guests to somebody in the salon that I knew would be a great fit for them. And it was also a great coaching moment, because that's what I was coaching my team to do as they earn promotions, as they level up, as they have price increases. Not everybody's going to be able to take that journey with them. So what does that look like to keep your guest inside of our salon business, but know that it's okay to move on from them? And then there's days I come in and I schedule time in my day to just be down on the floor, and I still get to have my hands in hair. I still get to train our associates. I still get to do so many things that bring me that creative joy without being tied to a guest for a certain amount of time. So that way I can give the best to my team and to the salon in general, and to all the guests, that come into the salon.
Were there some things that you brought away that you were like, absolutely, I'm going to just implement this 100%? Or were there parts of it that you're like, I'm going to just put this on the back burner as an idea, and I'm just going to let it simmer there for a while and not really necessarily change everything within the system?
I think with anything that you're looking into, and this because you also get to coach salons and salon owners, and to your point of, demographically, geographically, like, everybody is different. And so even though you can have definitely a blueprint, what a coach or what a mentor or what somebody can do is actually go to that blueprint and be like, here's what works for you. Here's what's not working for you. Here's how we can cater this to you. And that's really, I think, what it's about, because no matter where you are, like, it's going to be different. People are going to have different budgets. People are going to have different, cater to different people. Like, when you, that's the reason our industry is so vast. And so, like, we bring in so much money as an industry, because you have different niches that people fit into that do very, very well. Like, not everybody's the same. And so, there was absolutely things that I was like, I love this structure, but my whole intent was, how can I take this and how can I still keep it true to who we are? The other thing is, we were a hybrid model when I bought the salon. We were half booth rent, half commission. And I knew that I eventually wanted a full commission salon. But I also understood that I couldn't just come in as this young, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed salon owner and change everything. Like, it had to be slow. And there were booth renters that I had, and I didn't want to take anything away from them. So I was willing to move slow and to have a process. And one of the things I had said was, moving forward, I'm not hiring any more booth renters. That's not going to be an option. However, the people that are here, like, you're welcome here. I want you here. I want this to work for you. Here's what that's going to look like. The things that we want most in this life absolutely need to be chased, even when it's scary. And for me, I'm like, I knew it needed to. I knew I wanted to. I knew to get to that next level of salons I toured, salon owners I looked up to, to get to the place I knew I wanted to be, and I wanted to bring people with me. I'm like, this has to happen. But, there's these things, these monumental things that happen in your career that absolutely get you to that next level and to that next point. And I think being challenged and being questioned and having to really stick to your dreams and your goals, like, in that moment for me, I was like, no, like, I believe in what I'm doing, and I know I'm doing it for the greater good. And it isn't selfish. Like, I'm doing this for the people who work for me right now and for the future people that are going to work for me. Like, I just knew in my heart that growing and scaling and, changing prices, changing how we do things, focusing on the guest experience, all of these things, like I knew it absolutely had to happen, and that it was going to be scary. And that some people weren't going to like it, and that it's okay. Like, in that moment, I think one of the other things I really realized is I'm not for everybody. My salon company isn't for everybody, and it doesn't need to be.
I love the fact that you want to learn through discomfort and that you welcome it, because I think sometimes human nature is to expel it and to ignore it or try to cover other things up with it and go to a safe space. And it's really easy to step into the safety zone. But sticking with that discomfort and going with something that you knew in your core that it was something that you needed to do, I think is the most powerful part of this message that I think that everyone needs to listen to, because no matter where it is that you're in your career, if you don't listen to that voice and you quiet it down by other people's discomfort or your own discomfort, then you may be not allowing yourself to let those dreams come to fruition. How have things changed over the past 5 years for you personally? How have you been feeling with it?
After that moment in my career, feeling like that was kind of the lowest I'd been, especially as a new salon owner, coming back out of that and really just cultivating, living out the core values I wanted to see in my team, setting that example in and out of the salon, really. Now, today I have 18 team members who are absolute, just some of the most amazing humans I have ever encountered. I would say my walk with Jesus has also been a huge part of what I do and in my business. And I have always tried to keep that like as my true north as well. And for me, it's about praying as well as when I'm getting ready to hire, when I am looking for something, when I feel like we're missing something. Like, that is a huge part of who I am and what I do. And I want that to be felt in my business, and I want that to be known. And so, I've had some amazing moments throughout my entire career, but especially the last 5 years, of like seeing how things can move and work for the greater good, and having faith and believing. And, I have some amazing people that have found their way here. That is by a bigger design. I absolutely believe that. And so it's actually, my personal faith journey has deepened because of this, because as a business owner, I mean, like, it has to, like, you're questioned at every turn. People are always watching what you're doing. We have set, our core values together as a team. And it is absolutely something that we talk about living inside the salon and outside the salon. It's not just about who you are behind the chair. It's about how you're choosing to lead your life and to connect with people and to treat people.
So my takeaways from all this, I've been taking some notes, like what can you learn from the things that you don't love seeing, and what can you take from that and create and recreate from that? And knowing that salons are not a copy and paste. I think that's really important to think about, because just because somebody does something really well, it might work for their business, but not yours. So take it with a grain of salt. You can always, take a beat, but focus on like what's right for you too, like really going into that. Best things come from change and being uncomfortable. And I like that you embrace being uncomfortable. I think there is so much that's happening around us that it's really easy to pull us in different directions and question and compare. And I think being uncomfortable with where you are in your life is always going to be a thing that can get you back towards your North Star. And then believing in your dreams enough to stick with it, not letting those naysayers decide what is going to happen, what's not going to happen. And then the last part for me that I got out of this is being able to not just look at the person, who they are behind the chair, but their core values and who they are as a person. How are they putting themselves out there? Are they in the arena, or are they a critic? And that is so strong. And I can see and I can hear from you. And for those of the listeners that are hearing you too, I know for a fact that the stronger that you've gotten deeply rooted into that, then the more you've been able to give and the more you've been able to grow and expand. And it's an honor to have you in my life. It's an honor to have you as a friend. And it's an honor to have you as a guest here. So thank you, Bobbi, for sharing all your information. We also have a free download for you that we're going to put in the show notes just to help you as a little bit of that blueprint that might help you out with your business as well. Don't forget to dream big, set goals, take action, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Take care in the meantime. Bye, guys.